Hi guys, I'm Stefan, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I want to talk about finger isolation exercises. Are they bad for you? Should you avoid them? Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so, and if you like what you see, give this video a thumbs up. This video is part of a trilogy about finger exercises. In the first video, I was talking about whether finger exercises in general are a waste of time and how to approach them and how to use them effectively in your piano practice. In this video, I want to talk about a very specific category of finger exercises, which are isolation exercises or finger isolation exercises. They are the most controversial of all. And in a third video, I'm going to talk about the most popular finger exercise books or collections by Hanen, Schmidt, Dochnani, Liszt. Which one is the hardest, the easiest one, in what order to do them, how to do them, should you do the entire book or just certain bits? So check out those videos as well. So what is a finger isolation exercise? Now, if you missed the previous video, let me just say that a finger exercise basically is one pattern that gets repeated many times, sometimes in different keys, but essentially it's one short pattern. And the benefit of it is that you can memorize it very quickly. You don't need to read music, you don't need to think about musicality, melodies, and chord progressions. You can really focus your attention on the technical challenge that the exercise is trying to teach you, and you can learn it much quicker this way than as part of a longer piece. Finger isolation exercises are a whole category in piano playing, and they were very popular in the Romantic period, and people still do them nowadays because they can be useful, but they're also extremely controversial. And the reason for that is that although they have their benefits and can really improve your technique, but in many cases, when it's not done properly, it can lead to fatigue, tiredness, injury, and can actually make your technique a lot worse. So what is a finger isolation exercise? These exercises are trying to, as the name says, isolate the movement of certain fingers to develop finger independence or coordination. We call finger independence, but as I said in my previous videos, none of the fingers are really independent apart from the thumb, which is completely separate from the other four. But what we can do when we talk about developing finger independence is work on muscle coordination and thinking and concentration to be able to move those fingers in ways we can't normally do. So we're not really changing how the muscle works, we're just trying to focus on moving certain muscles or muscle groups in a way that we want them to. Let me show you a very simple exercise. So here I'm going to hold down my thumb and I'm going to play 2-2-2, 3-3-3, 4-4-4, 5-5-5, whilst I was holding down my thumb the entire time. Now this is one of the easiest finger isolation exercises because it basically holds down one finger whilst you're moving the other ones. These exercises can get a lot more complicated than this. You can hold down two fingers, like for example here, and then move 2 and 4, or you can hold down 3 fingers and try to move the weakest fingers, 4 and 5. Here is another example where you're playing it in the context of a chord, so double notes in legato. And you can do this whilst holding down finger 5. And that, again, really puts the hand in a very restricted position. So what's wrong with these exercises? Why are they so controversial? Playing a melody without holding down a finger is already requiring a lot of relaxation in the wrist, in the hand. We use wrist circles, we use lateral hand motion to ease that kind of tension. But what happens as soon as you hold down one finger, it means that the hand is not allowed to move in all of those directions that it was allowed to move before. And the more fingers you hold down, the more restricted the hand is going to be and the wrist. And the other problem that can happen is that many times when students are trying to keep a note held down, they are really pushing it because naturally the finger wants to come up, especially when you're working around the weak fingers 3, 4, and 5. And when the finger wants to come up and you're pushing it as hard as you can not to allow it to come up, then obviously you're exercising a lot of tension onto those notes, and there's going to be tension in the sides of the hands, there's going to be tension at the top, there's going to be tension in the wrist and in the forearm. If these exercises are done with tension and you're not really focusing on the purpose of the exercise, then it's going to lead to a lot of inflammation, it's going to lead to injury, and it's going to be extremely uncomfortable to do them. And that's why so many teachers advise against them, because imagine if I assign 10 of these exercises to a student, they kind of get the hang of it, but then they go home and they practice it for a week, for 10, 15 minutes a day, or even 20, and they keep pushing and they keep putting tension on the hand. It's going to be very, very destructive to their technique. But if I work on these exercises with students as part of the lesson and I don't ask them to practice it at home, that means I can monitor them and I can stop them if I see that there's tension in the hand. And after a few weeks, when they have some experience with the exercises and they know how it should feel when the hand is tension-free and the fingers start moving as they want them to, they can concentrate on organizing those muscles and controlling them in a way that they haven't done before. And I'm confident that they can do it now, and they notice it when there is tension, then they can go home and start practicing it. So there is a responsibility when you introduce these exercises, not just for the teacher, but also for the student. Now, you as a solo learner or an adult learner, these exercises can be very, very useful for finger independence, for voicing. Romantic music is full of pieces where you need to hold down a note and play chords with the other fingers. And those are really hard to play without these exercises. You need to practice those a lot within the context of the piece. So if you want to work on finger independence, you can use these exercises, but please, please do not do them for more than 5-10 minutes a day, and do not play through tension. Always try to relax the hand, especially the wrist and the hand muscles. And if you feel tension is building up, stop. Do not play, stop, and try to figure out what is wrong, what is not relaxing. Are you pushing too hard into those keys? Are you trying to lift the fingers too high? You don't need to lift the fingers too high. You need to lift them high enough that they separate the sound and you get a clean sound. But the idea of moving independent fingers all the way up is really wrong, because these fingers are all interconnected, so they don't need to move up quite so high as some of the descriptions in these books suggest. You have to also remember, when these exercises were written, the piano was a much lighter instrument with a much lighter action, so it was slightly easier to do them. Now the piano is heavier, the key action is heavier, so it requires even more energy and concentration to play these exercises with ease. So I hope this gave you a little bit of insight why these exercises are so controversial and why they can be really useful if done correctly. And if you feel like you're not doing them right, please stop doing them, ask for help from someone, and do not play through pain, and do not reinforce something that's not doing any good to you.